welcome to this video. I'm so proud to present Georgiane Lamont of Lamont Associates, who I met about 3 years ago at an event in London, and we've kept in touch ever since through mutual networks. I asked her if she'd be willing to just have a few short minutes on this video to share her experience of the business world at the moment, and she agreed, which is great news for us. Welcome and thank you.
Thank you.
So, at the moment, given the tough economic climate, which do you see are the types of organisations that are not just surviving but thriving through this process of change?
Alright, the sorts of organisations that are thriving are those that are really ready to innovate, to do things differently, to see this as an opportunity to radically change what they do and how they do it. So I've worked with a lot of organisations going through quite deep distress, real crises, of not being able to reach their targets, of having to deal with a reorganisation, having to deal with a relocation, losing people, and the organisations can, if they choose to, dig deep, find parts of themselves that they never knew were there, really bring their values into play, and in the process they not only meet the crisis that's facing them, but they come out that much stronger and discover things that they're able to do they never knew they were able to do. There are also the businesses that are prepared to cut waste, and radically cut waste. And by waste I'm not talking about paper and bits and pieces like that. I'm talking about meetings that are dreary and go on for, say, an hour, when in fact you could have a vibrant meeting that takes 30 minutes and is much more productive. I'm talking about relationships where people aren't communicating well and where there are resentments. There's terrific waste there, so it's really clearing all that mediocrity and negativity. The waste that happens when people are pulling in different directions. I mean, physics teaches us quite simply that pulling in different directions, you lose energy. So it's enabling people to really have a clear sense of the vision of where they're going, and that ability to connect with that and run with that.
That's great, because that's giving us your perspective on the organisational business perspective, if you like, of what's happening. In terms of individuals who are going through a particularly difficult time, and people, wondering what's the meaning of all this, what's this for? And if they wanted to connect with more meaning and purpose through their work, in order to find a way to help them through this painful time, what would you suggest they could do?
I would have a very clear vision of where I want to be, of how I want this, if I accept this company or this organisation as it is, what's my highest vision for it? How do I truly want it to be? What would be the core values I want to see expressed in this company? And then I would be the change. I would live it. I would be it. So if my vision is, and I worked with a tyre company once, for this company to be fun, but at the time it wasn't fun at all because everyone was sort of snarled up, then I would go in and enjoy and bring fun. But the thing is to be and bring the very thing that you want to receive is actually, the important thing is for you to give it. So if, say, you're in a company which is being very cautious and you just wish it would be more creative, then be creative. Start writing memos in different ways. Start making your telephone calls in different ways. Bring in your creativity. So I would be very clear on my values and vision, and then step into that. The other tool I think that can help an individual, and this just helps so much, is to have the tool of celebration. So to just, right now where you are, just stop and think, what is it that I can be grateful for? What are the things that I appreciate around me right now? Or think about a colleague and just sit down and think of 10 things that you really value about that colleague. Perhaps think about a manager who's really getting up your nose, taking some stillness and thinking, but what do I appreciate about them? Because the wonderful thing is, it's actually impossible to both be appreciative and suffering. The two can't coexist.
No, you're right.
So if you're having a tough time and you're feeling really miserable, or, oh no, it's Monday morning, just take a moment and think, what's delighted me in the last 24 hours? Or what are the qualities of that colleague that I appreciate? And immediately you've shifted and changed the energy. And I think what's really going to help individuals get through this time is being able to tap into their energy, their enthusiasm, their engagement. Because when they do that, then they become part of something that's exciting, that brings out the best in them, that brings them alive. And as soon as you're alive, then you're nourished. It's what we're here to be. Absolutely. Alive, not half dead.
Thank you. Thank you so much. There are some nuggets of wisdom in there, and I'm sure that the listeners will have got value from that and benefit from listening to it. And you know, ultimately it's about starting where you're at. I also feel starting with what you know, step out on what you know to be true, and feel it, and to be gentle with yourself as well. And don't use this process as another tool to beat yourself up with because you're not doing it right. No. I think it's really important for people to be gentle with themselves and with others during this time, because as you said, it's a painful time, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean suffering.
It's a time when we need a lot of kindness for each other.
Yes. Yes. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.